What do full-time photographers and videographers do on their spare time when they're not doing their craft? Well, we're gonna tickle the insides of me and find out what makes me laugh when no one's looking. Hi, I'm Jared Hoyman, and welcome back to the channel where we talk about photography, videography, and technology. All of the fun, nerdy stuff that makes you want to just go out there and take photos. Unless you're like me and you do this for a living, 5 days a week, you don't necessarily do photos for fun anymore. You do it because you have to. You enjoy it, but you do leave it there. So today I'm going to talk about what this guy does for fun on the side to decompress, because back in the day, I used to take photos and video all the time to decompress, but now it's like doing work all the time. But let me explain a little bit of my background. For years and years, I worked in a cubicle, a 9-to-5 office job, and on the side, I did photography and videography, and it was more of a hobby. In college, I learned photography and videography, but in the real world, after I graduated 20 years ago, I got a real job, because that's what I was told you're supposed to do. I got a real job, did photography and videography on the side, did jobs, but it was a glorified hobby, and I enjoyed every second of it. I loved going to my regular job and getting done with it and then doing my hobby. But after I started my current company, visibletour.com, 10 years ago, things changed. It was like when I was a kid and my parents would bring me to the toy store and I would go to KB Toys. Oh, do you remember KB Toys? Oh, Toys R Us. I mean, that wasn't even that long ago, but there is no more Toys R Us. You would go to Toys R Us, you would walk down the aisle, your parents would show you all these things, and then they wouldn't buy you anything. They would just say, wouldn't that be nice if we can afford that, Jared? And Jared would be like, we can't afford an Atari 2600. And they'd say, no, we can't afford a 2600, Jared. And I'd be like, this sucks. I would leave that toy store wanting all those toys. I wanted to play with them. I just wanted them. And then to the best comparison I could do, it would be like Jared grew up, got a ton of money, went to Toys R Us, and didn't stop playing with toys. Played with them all the time. Played the 2600, played the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, just went up the line, just enjoyed everything until it made him sick. He couldn't stand looking at Frogger anymore. He couldn't stand playing with G.I. Joe. Once you have too much of something, it no longer is good. It doesn't taste good. It doesn't feel good. You can have steak every single day of your life, or pick whatever you like. Could be peanut butter and jelly. That was me as a kid, by the way. Peanut butter and jelly every single day. Never got sick of it. So maybe that's a bad example. But let's just pretend it's steak. You have steak too many times, it starts to just taste like bologna. It's not gonna taste good after a while. That's what doing photography and videography is day in and day out. You do it so much that, well, it can lose its flavor, its zest, its excitement, because it's now a living. So in order for me to keep that excitement and nudity of, is that a word, nudity? Nudity is, I don't know if nudity is. So in order to keep that freshness and that excitement about photography, I can't do it all the time. I can do it for my job, and I love my job. I love what I do. I love the photography. I love the editing. I love the video. I love all of that. But if I do that 9 to 5, and then I come home and I decide I'm going to do more photography, I am going to get sick of it. So I have to have an outlet. I have to have a way to decompress and get away from photography, because I'm going to do it all over again. So what I've learned over the years is to really harness it where it's at. And ever since I started YouTube a few years ago, I've harnessed my excitement into video and photography in this outlet, and it's a little bit different than what I do for my clients. So this is fresh, this is new, and this is kind of exciting. Is it exciting for you? Oh, are you still watching? I hope you are. So to prove that I don't do photography a whole lot or videography when I'm not doing it for work, my kids did not know I had a drone until a few years ago. They had no clue. because I am flying it every single day for work. And then I come home, I pack it up, and they just see it in a briefcase. They don't even know what's in the briefcase. They assume daddy has papers, he's working hard. And it wasn't until this year that I had my 7-year-old son finally fly the drone. He didn't even know we had one. It was hilarious. I had him fly the drone, he did amazing, and that was it. My kids are not obsessed so much with technology as I was as a kid and even as an adult. They don't have access to my camera gear, to my video equipment, unless I give them access to it. And just recently, I upgraded to the GoPro 12, and I had a GoPro 10. Instead of selling it, I decided to let my 3 children have it. And so my son, in his own creative way, is doing stop motion with it. Don't ask me how with a GoPro, but he's doing it. So he's doing some stop motion type things with the GoPro. And it's cool to see their creative outlet in there, and they can expand on that. For me, I'm like, that's awesome, keep doing that. You might ask, Jared, don't you take your Canon R6 Mark II or your Canon R7 or any of your other professional equipment and just bring it on vacation all the time? And I actually do bring it on vacation all the time, and it stays in a bag the majority of the time. It's a rarity that I actually even take it out because I always have it on me, because you never know when a client calls and needs something and you might be in the location that they need or shots in an area where they want it. And so that has happened, and I thought, well, it's better to have it just in case. But for family photos and video, I don't bring it out. My iPhone 15 Pro takes amazing pictures, and I'm actually using this more often. We just had the daddy-daughter ball with my 2 girls, and for the first time in about 4 or 5 years of doing that, I didn't use my professional camera. I used my cell phone. I edited the raw files, and I was actually pretty impressed with it. When you don't have to think about photography and you're just in the moment, honestly, the phone is the best route to go. And they say it all the time, but the best camera is the one you have with you. So when I'm not doing photography and videography, what am I doing for fun? Well, you're kind of looking at it. Now, some of you are under the impression that I make a ton of money doing YouTube. YouTube is a hobby for me that does pay a little bit, but nothing for me to quit a job and do full time, at least at this point in my life. But I do enjoy it. I love the audience that I'm speaking with. I learned so much from you. A lot of you have recommended over the years the MacBook, especially when the M1 came out. And I did listen. I listened to a lot of you, and you know that because I've commented on your comments. And I ended up getting a Mac because a lot of you have mentioned it. And I recently switched from Android to iPhone because of your comments as well. Now, other variables play a part, mostly my wife. So I try to get at least 1 video a week out. I try to get some reviews out there. I am behind. I have a lot of equipment to review right now. And I hope to get to it, but I really like these kind of conversations as well. You let me know if you like them below by making a comment and liking the video. Well, now YouTube is only a portion of my free time when I'm not doing my full-time job. The other thing I love to do in my free time is spend time with my children in any capacity that I can, but we have a common denominator. And that common denominator, no, it's not love. Why would you say that? I mean, it is, but geez, it's not love. The common denominator is the Nintendo Switch. We play Smash Brothers, Mario Kart. We also play, have you heard of Duck Game? A lot of people haven't heard of Duck Game. It's designed to look like a 1980s with that synthesizer sound. And oh my gosh, if you have heard of Duck Game, you gotta make a comment below and tell me that you love it. I hope you love it. It's an amazing game. It's 2D, you are ducks and you are just shooting each other up. My wife doesn't know that we play this game, but she doesn't need to know until she watches this video. And therefore, I might be in trouble. So anyways, Duck Game, amazing. My children and I try to play video games at least a couple times a week. We bond, we fight with each other. The other thing I do on the side is martial arts. Back in the 90s, I used to do Taekwondo, and then I fell away from it. My children came into the picture because I had kids. That's how they come into the picture, I guess. Still trying to figure out how that happens. My oldest and I were doing some martial arts, then my middle, and then now my youngest. So all 4 of us actually do it 3 days a week. And this old guy is testing for his black belt actually in just a couple of weeks. So should be pretty fun. Again, it's another time for my kids and I to bond over something that we really enjoy and get some good exercise too. You should have vacations with each other. You have to get away from the home. Even if it's in your own state, even if it's just about an hour away, to get away from that, it's a good decompression, and we do that a few times a year. That being said, we went to the Wisconsin Dells just recently, and yes, I did bring my professional equipment, and the only thing that came out of my bag was the GoPro 12. And it came in handy because in the Wisconsin Dells with these indoor water parks, you're not allowed to have the GoPro go down one of those slides, but it's such a small camera. Who's gonna see it? So this guy snuck it on one of the rides, and I did it a few times. I did get caught once and they took it away like I was in high school, and then I had to go down the slide, come up and get it from them. It was like a walk of shame down, and then I snuck it on another slide, so it was kind of funny. I was like a badass. But you're not gonna get this footage from your cell phone because your cell phone will probably get damaged with all the water. But check out this shot going down the slide, which was well worth bringing my GoPro 12. The other thing I really like to do, and again, it might be something that surprises you because a lot of you don't know me. You just know tech, camera, video guy Jared. I love landscaping. I love working in the yard. I love mowing my lawn. I love gardening. I am out there often. That is my decompression. I am not taking photos of that stuff. I'm not doing macro photography looking at bees. I'm actually digging with my hands and planting trees. That's what I enjoy. Now, having these activities and these hobbies outside of the realm of photography and video in my career, it helps renew me, give me a fresh look on life and everything. So then when I go back in to do the thing I am super passionate and excited about, I have that feeling like I just went into KB Toy Store or Toys R Us and I'm seeing a toy for the first time and I get to play with it. That's what that feels like. And maybe one day I will have that feeling by going to B&H in New York because I've never been, but I hear it's pretty cool. I would love to go someday. I've actually never been to New York, so maybe I gotta do that someday. Maybe that's one of my vacations. Either way, this is what I do in order to decompress, renew myself, and then get going again to do the thing I'm excited about. Otherwise, burnout is real. It's real for anybody. It's real for those that do YouTube. If all you do nonstop is YouTube in the morning, YouTube at night, you're gonna get burnt out. You need to have side hobbies. You have to have something else that can help supplement your lifestyle. I'm always curious if you like these kind of videos, and if you do, leave a comment below if you want more videos just like this. And if you did like the video, please hit the like button. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. If you're sad this video is over, well, there's some other videos right over there that you might find interesting. I do because I made them. That's why I'm recommending them over there.